Hello, Amazing Atheist. This is Shane. I think this is the first time I've actually responded to one of your videos with a video response. So let me just say hello officially. I love your videos, and I'm detecting, like me, you've got a little bit of a libertarian streak. Okay, I lie. I have a lot of a libertarian streak. And I've debated issues like this very issue of property rights for a long time, many, many years. And what I've noticed is that a lot of people, many of whom are skeptics in everything else, they turn it all off when you get into the political arena. I don't know if that's true with this Doug guy, or if he seems to be just to be like an idiot on the order of Venom Fang X. So I don't know about him, but you know, I don't even want to talk about him really. I just want to respond more generically. But there are a lot of people who just do everything they can to avoid a rational discussion. I don't want to get into why, but get in specifically to this issue of property rights and the rights of business owners, and get into it that way because, of course, it all ties together. You notice the kind of things that he did, like you pointed out. He went straight to the issue of blacks in the 30s and the 50s and the 60s and through all of that, and it seems that they always go there. They say, well, you know, they made blacks to sit at the back of the bus and they wouldn't let them sit at the front counter. Well, that's because that was the law. There were actually laws. That's what they were. They were Jim Crow laws. And the funny thing is, when they first passed those laws, the businesses resisted because that's a lot of stuff to go through. You know, okay, you got this guy that you're paying, you know, $1 an hour or whatever it was to drive a bus. Now you're going to ask him to manage seating arrangements as well? If you're a bus company, you don't care. If you're a bus driver, you don't care. So what they ended up having to do was threaten the businesses themselves with prosecution and with police patrols. They actually threatened to put policemen on the buses if they didn't do this. And so they said, okay, we'll play ball, you know, don't come after us, we'll play ball. And so what the bus companies did was they actually hired an extra person on the bus to make sure that everyone sat where they were legally allowed to sit. That's the perfect description for it. They were legally allowed. You know, it was a legal issue. It wasn't anything, you know, the bus company's choice. And they certainly didn't want to hire an employee to do that, because that employee's not doing anything. The employee's not generating anything of value. You know, you hire an employee because you want them to give something that's of greater value than what you're paying them in wages. And yes, I'll use socialists out there and people who don't want to admit you're socialists. Yes, greater value because the business has expenses, and yes, the business wants to make a profit. Excuse me. So, you know, these employees aren't doing anything for the business. They aren't doing anything for anyone. They're just there for all these stupid laws. And when the Jim Crow laws were abolished, what happened was it actually took a little time for them to get to a non-discriminatory fashion, because these things had been in place for something like 30 years. So the people who were running the businesses, most of them weren't around when the laws were first instated. They didn't know what it was like beforehand, and they were thinking, oh, well, you know, if we let blacks sit at the front of the bus or we let them sit at the lunch counter, how much business are we going to lose? And there was that fear there. So there was actually a little bit of resistance in going back to it. But it didn't take that long, because what had happened was they had been under oppression for so long, they didn't know what it would be like without it. And that's really the nub of the issue. Once they saw, oh, I'm not going to lose business if I let blacks sit at the front counter. You know, it's okay if we let them sit wherever they want to on the bus. Once they saw that, you know, they came around and it was never a problem again. You know, I think you have it. I think you have discrimination. I think you want discrimination. I think it's good. One example that comes to mind is this place called Curves. And I'm not exactly sure what it is. I'm not sure if it's just a gym, or it's like one of those health and fitness things, or if it's like Weight Watchers or something like that. But they only allow women. And I'm guessing, I'm speculating at the reasons why, but it might be because, you know, women go to the gym and we men are such pigs that we check them out and leer at them and whatever. I personally would like to think that I'm above that, but But apparently that's enough of a problem that they want a place where they can go without men. That's sexual discrimination. And it's fine. It's fine. They've got a business model that apparently works. So who am I to contradict that? Just because I can't go, well, I can go somewhere else and give them my money. You know, Curves isn't going to get my money. But apparently Curves doesn't want my money, so why would I want to give them my money? You know, that's the free market. That's how it works. That's what's so beautiful about it. But of course, you know, they always go to the extreme examples, and we saw this with this duck guy about the starving black guy in the desert. You can take an extreme example. You can always find an extreme, unrealistic example to argue against anything you want. You know, that's not anything difficult to do. You can do it with anything. The thing is, when I debate libertarianism and I debate property rights and things like that, it seems like they immediately go there. It's like they don't have any other arguments that they can use about real world situations, so they have to jump, you know, right into the ridiculous scenario. Another example is when I talk about drug legalization. With some people, it takes about 5 seconds to go from drug legalization to crack in vending machines. Now, yeah, come on. You know, but it's the same kind of thing. They've lived under oppression their whole lives. You know, there are very few of us who were alive back when drugs were legal. You'd have to be, I guess you'd have to be 96 or 97, and even then you'd be too young to remember back when these drugs were legal. They've been illegal for so long that we're so afraid of what'll happen if they become legalized. But what'll happen is, you know, once drugs are legalized, people are going to start realizing that this Armageddon that they were expecting didn't happen. And hey, there are no vending machines with crack in them. And hey, there are no drug dealers in our schools. And look, all of these people who are addicted to drugs, they're getting all these other diagnoses, depression or whatever, and they can now get the psychological help they need. They can come forward and get that without fear of being thrown in jail. And they slowly come to see that. But as long as they've lived their whole lives under the banner of oppression, it's hard for them to see anything else. So we really need to be sympathetic of that and understand where they're coming from. Again, with this duck guy, I think he's just an idiot. You know, some people are too far gone. And I think the people who go straight to the crack and vending machines as well are too far gone. But those fears are there and you can see it. So what I think you really need to do is boil it down. Say, what exactly is it that you're proposing? So getting back to the original subject, which is the discrimination in businesses, you know, let's say you've got a man who runs a business and he won't serve black people. And you see this. You see, you know, a black guy go into the business and says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve blacks." And the black guy's very upset and he storms out of the business. And so you take him by the arm very gently and say, "Hey, come with me. I'll get you. I'll get you straightened out here." You go up to the counter. You pull out a gun. You point it at the proprietor's head, and you say, "Serve this black guy now." And he says, "Okay, I'll do it. Here's what you want. Okay, thank you, sir. Here's your change. You have a nice day, sir." Ask them how they would feel doing that. How would you feel pointing a gun at this proprietor's head? Moreover, how would you feel if you were the black guy? You know, would be a little bit uncomfortable there. Here's this guy pointing a gun at a guy's head to make him serve you. You know, that's awful. That's terrible. That's a horrible thing. I don't know of anyone who would be for that. I don't know anyone who would say, well, that's a good thing. But what they need to understand is that when they go to the government and they say, "Okay, government, you know, protect us against discrimination, stop these people from discriminating," when they do that, that's exactly what they're doing. That is exactly what they're advocating. They don't see it because they don't see the guns, but the guns are there. The threat of the guns are there. You know, I say, no, it's just a law. It says they have to serve black people. Well, what if they still refuse to serve black people? You're going to see guns sooner or later. Maybe not right away. They'll send some bureaucrat over with a form or something. But if he keeps resisting, and if he keeps defying the law, sooner or later, they're going to send in men with guns. They're going to arrest him, or they're going to shut his business down or something like that. Every law is backed up sooner or later by the force of a gun. So are you willing to pick up a gun and point it at this proprietor's head to stop it? If not, then you should be against the law. You should be against be against the laws that are preventing that, because those laws do the same thing. That's what every law does. So laws are only justified when that kind of force is justified, and the people need to start realizing this. It's not just a matter of, oh, we make the law and everything's fine. The force is there, the guns are there, they're just hidden from us. So that, I think, is the big point. So thanks for the videos. You keep making them, I'll keep watching them. Have a good day.